Drag racing fan, we're live again here on the Monday Morning Racer platform, along with competitionplus.com on the Facebook side of things. Wherever you're watching, thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and let folks know that we're talking about, well, everything between the slicks. That is the world of drag racing. We've got some more drag racing news to cover as we get closer to the performance racing industry trade show. There's even more now that has dropped today, but in particular, the guests that we have on, we've got the other side of the Nitro ranks of the Heritage Series today. Yesterday, we talked with Shane Westerfield, who got the championship in the funny car category of the Heritage Series with the Austin O'Brien entry, the Mean Green Machine. Well, Great Expectations 3, those in the top fuel ranks, they certainly know how to set the expectations high, and they have that for themselves, and they lived up to the expectations. Tyler Hilton winning a championship once again, an unprecedented 4 straight championship titles in the NHRA Heritage Series in what is very challenging mechanisms to drive and tune down the drag strip. So looking forward to chatting with Tyler Hilton in just a few moments. I'm trying to work out some bugs here. Every now and then, you have situation with StreamYard and Facebook that is frustrating because you have it not share to the wall itself on Facebook. So let me make a share just very quickly from inside the event onto the Monday Morning Racer platform wall, and then folks can join in just a little bit easier and watch the show. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Certainly would like to hear from you as we are live now and about to take a break and talk with Tyler Hilton. And as we take a break, a big part of their success is Ross Racing Engines, and was very thankful also for their support in covering the 2025 March meet. So a word from Ross, and then we'll talk with Mr. Hilton, Mr. 4-time, just a moment. Ross Racing Engines of Niles, Ohio, built this bad power plant for Tyler Hilton and Team Great Expectations 3, currently #1 qualifier at the 2025 March meet. And whether it's Hemi power or power for your application on dirt track or asphalt short track racing and beyond, even into the hot rodding scene, Ross Racing Engines is your one-stop shop for everything for your power plant. No matter the application, they do nearly everything in-house. They are not outsourcing at Ross. So whether it's racing or rodding, you need Ross Racing Engines. Tyler Hilton, well, no stranger to the show and the platform. Welcome back once again, and under such great circumstances as 4 championships in a row. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Yeah, I still can't really believe that we've done it, but we had a hell of a year, a hell of a last 4 years. So.
Right. I mean, what a run, unprecedented to the truest sense of the word, to be able to clip off 4 in a row. 4 in a row doesn't happen for champions in nearly anything. It's a rare feat, whether it's stick and ball, whether it's motorsports, or whether it's chess. I don't care. It's just hard to win a championship, and it's hard to win a second one, and then it's even harder to win the third, and I can't imagine how hard it's got to be to win 4. So with winning this 4th championship, let's back it all the way up. We're at the end of 2024, rolling into 2025. what are the thoughts on the program to be able to go out there and, well, win a fourth championship? What was done in the offseason?
Well, not really. We didn't change any much on the combination. We just been picking at it here and there. Really just getting our parts fresh. Tony up at Ross's, I mean, he does everything for us, machine work wise and assembly wise. So he had his hands on everything. Um, just getting everything fresh and getting ready and trying to remember that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So you just take it one round at a time, really.
One round at a time. Certainly, the programs that perform the best, they take that approach, and you all do that. You take that approach, and from what I have noticed in the program, your dad tuning and others involved, like you don't worry about getting behind the eight ball. Like, you're going to go out there and you're going to, let's figure out the range. Let's figure out this side of the range. And you know what? Then we're going to try to tune to where we need to be per conditions and who we're going up against. And it seems like many times that you, with your driving, your pops with the tuning, and the whole entire operation, you all find that happy medium where that car, well, it's happy and it's getting down the track and it's putting up numbers.
Yeah, sometimes we could be a little more aggressive, but a lot of times when we've been aggressive in the past, it kind of bites us. So we kind of just go into each race and go back and look at our notes from the past years and really try to just emulate what we've done in the past, and yeah, try to find that happy medium where we're not too aggressive, not too much on the edge, but we're not leaving too much on the table either.
Hard to find it, but you all certainly do just that. Rolling into the start of the season for the Heritage Series, the famed historical granddaddy of them all, March Meet, kicks it off. And as mentioned in the commercial, well, number one qualifier, and certainly the car to beat all the way to the final round. But you wind up not turning on that last win light, and the winner of that race became the stiffest and toughest competition of the year in Pete Kaiser.
Yeah, we had a little hiccup there in the final round. The driver had a little hiccup, um, but that's never happened before, and try not to let it happen again. But yeah, we definitely had the car to beat. Yeah, and Kaiser, I mean, he was chasing us all summer. He's the top car out there as far as I'm concerned, racing against us. So um, yeah, the March meet really would mean a lot to us to win that. We're going to go out there this year and really try to just do the same thing we did last year, but not have that hiccup there in the final round.
Yeah, it really seems to be the last nostalgia Heritage Series thing on the list for you all as a team to. Okay, great. Let's go for a fifth championship. That's just unprecedented again for sure. But like, that is the last one. It's Indy for you all, and haven't got it just yet. Been oh so close, but it's still out there. So I'm sure it still stings a little bit, and you get that random driving down the road and like, dang, why was I late?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I spend a lot more time on the practice tree now, trying to get a little bit better reaction time working. Um, but that's part of it. You live by the sword and die by the sword. So
Well, for the competition, if you're practicing on the practice tree and as well as that car runs, it's going to be an even more deadly combination for the rest of the front engine dragsters that are out there. I'm curious, what are you hearing though in the front engine dragster world concerning what people are doing in this off season to be ready for 2026? Talking with Shane yesterday, the funny car side of things has become very, very competitive. And Pete Kaiser was extremely competitive this year. And there were others showcasing the ability to certainly run these top field dragsters with the motor still in the front and on this small tire for a modern day drag car. So what are you hearing about 2026 and the competition overall?
Well, Kaiser's front half in their car, he's got Bobby Cottrell doing a new front half, so that's what they're doing as far as I've seen. Not, not. I haven't talked a lot with other people this year, this off season yet. I've just been focused on our deal and trying to get our deal freshened up. We left the car out west for 3 races, so I didn't have time to really go over it as much as I'd like to. So I've spent a lot of time since we got back from the reunion doing that, and just going over the whole chassis, going over all the wiring, just checking stuff that needs to be checked. So I've just been focusing mainly on our program and kind of not too much on what everyone else is doing yet.
Well, that certainly has worked in the past. I'm sure it's going to work again in 2026. Beyond the March meet, not too many opportunities for you guys to pull the hot rods out, burn some nitromethane, and enjoy some drag racing. The events beyond March meet, how did the year look going back into Bakersfield for the California Hot Rod Reunion?
This last year, well, we went to the March meet, runnered up, and then we went to Bowling Green and won our third or fourth consecutive race down there for that race, which was good. Then went to Boise and did really well in Boise. I was pretty proud of that. We ran really well in qualifying and did pretty good on race day. So, and then Reading, we had a $50 parts failure in the semis, and that put us out. So then we ended up back at the reunion, #1 qualifier, and just weren't aggressive enough. The track was just killer, and we just didn't get aggressive enough in eliminations, and we got beat. So, but that's okay. We had the championship sewed up, so we just we try to learn from everything we can and not let it get to us too much, and just go on to the next one.
Well, when looking back at the California Hot Rod Reunion, was following along, it was not completely out of reach for Pete in the championship chase. You all are able to do enough, even though didn't go on and win the race, but did enough. And Pete wasn't able to pick up the championship. You lock up your fourth straight championship in a row. The California Hot Rod Reunion this year, a lot of emphasis, a lot of work went into it. How was it with Nitro Revival there as well? And the California Hot Rod Reunion seems like it's getting back to a prominent place within the Heritage Series economy.
Yeah, I mean, I think Steve and Cindy coming in there and doing their deal, I think it was really brought some more life back into it. The pits were just packed on Saturday with spectators and racers. You know, there was a ton of racing going on. So yeah, I think the event, it's kind of turned a corner and is starting to get better than it was for the last few years. We were just so focused on winning that championship, we kind of didn't have too much time to do much else. But yeah, it's definitely like the world finals for us, you know, for the Heritage Series for the end of the year. So I like to see it grow and hope that everything in the future is positive for it.
I think it certainly is going to be just that. I know it went well and everybody was excited, and I haven't heard any negative reports. I think March meet this past year, well, Bowser got the weather that we are all looking for. It was perfect, and that certainly helps that show. Any good weather helps any show, but March, that time of the year, Bakersfield, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, but we got it and got it all in, and what a spectacular show it was across the board, and hoping that we get that in 2026. You mentioned looking over the car. This car, as you said last year, not too many changes to the combination. You're looking at it, going over it. What are the thoughts in the offseason this year? Like, we're going to see it back up at McKinney Corp for anything, or is it ready to rock and roll for 2026?
It's getting ready to rock and roll for 2026. We got a few little things that Murph's gonna do for us over there at McKinney Corp. Just some few small things, some bolt-on parts and stuff like that. Nothing major with the car or the body. Uh, Tried out some wings. Just had just picking at it. Nothing major. Just trying to refine it and keep it consistent. It's just a great race car. I mean, when Bartone and them had it for the year they ran it or two, they ran really well with it, and then we've taken it and kind of taken it to a different level too. So it's just it's really been a pleasure to drive and work on, and we just had a really great time with it.
It is a car that, well, it's got some good history, whether it was with the Bartones or whether it's been in the Hilton camp. The folks at McKinney they seem to have landed on the secret sauce somehow with this particular hot rod. Certainly, there are great cars out there, and there are very competitive cars out there. But I, I, man, the record. I got to talk to Murph and get the numbers compiled. The record for this car, win loss wise and championship wise, it's. I would suspect it's one of the, if not the most winningest car that has been out there of this modern era in what you all are doing in Nostalgia Top Fuel.
Yeah, it's up there. It's got to be up there. Like I said, it's been a pleasure to drive it. Everything on it does what it's supposed to. It's a bad hot rod. Sometimes I'm working on it in the shop and you just kind of stand back and you go, damn, that's just a bad hot rod. So we just gonna keep it that way and just keep our parts fresh, keep our inventory up, and try to go after it again.
All right. There's always talk in everything, certainly drag racing, and there's a lot of talk on the nostalgia side. It's an interesting group, and there's even greater defined talk, it seems like, amongst the front engine Top Fuel guys. Well, I've seen discussions online of coming up with some changes to get the cars quicker and faster from what I can ascertain, because there seems to be this idea that the floppers are just kind of taking a bit of the brighter light of the show. So what are your thoughts on where these neo nostalgia Top Fuel dragsters, if you will, are right now within the world of Heritage Series drag racing?
Well, we've had talk of giving us more fuel pump or more blower or small changes like that. I don't know. The funny cars really have stepped up in the ET wise in the last couple years, and that's just I wouldn't want to race in that group. It's so competitive. But the dragsters, I mean, I think our rules package is pretty well off the way it is right now, and I'd just like to see the car counts come up. And I know traveling to the races to try to get more cars at certain venues. I know it's hard. We deal with it too, but it just would be nice to get our car count up at every single race just to support the tracks and support the series as much as we can so it doesn't go away. So, um, but yeah, I don't think performance wise, we're not that far off from the funny cars. I mean, that they got a bigger pump and they got more blower, um, but they're a little heavier. Um, but I think our rules package needs to stay the way it is and just focus on the racing.
I like that. Focus on the racing, and it is good racing. I feel like in the world of drag racing, look, it is great that you have these moments such as the Cecil and Matthews with John Caps driving and they dip down in the 40s.
Yeah,
I don't know what Mike English calls beyond the twilight zone, but they went into another zone apparently. Okay,
yeah.
but as great as that is, I don't have to have 40s every run, and I don't need big numbers. I don't need big mile per hour. I desire, let me have good close drag racing. no matter the numbers. In fact, I'd rather have pedal fests. Like I mean, I know drivers may not want them. I know it's tough on parts, and if we had it every pass, then it would become the norm, and it wouldn't be that cool. But man, give me a couple of pedal fest every event. I think that's darn cool and exciting. But right, I don't think the category has to shoot for quickest and fastest, but if you can be the most competitive out of even just 8 cars, well, there's the show.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think I'd rather see cars running consistent low 560s and some high 50s and really racing each other hard than, big just killer runs every once in a while. So um, yeah, just keep the racing consistent, and like you said, a pedal fest every now and then keeps it exciting. So I've won a few races off of that, so I'll give you that for sure. But yeah, just keeping the racing tight and keeping it consistent really, I think, is the way to go.
Absolutely. So when we look at 2026 out there on the horizon, already mentioned March meet. Try to finally mark that one off the list. Beyond that, have you and Team Great Expectations 3 decided, is it going to be a drive for 5 or not in 2026?
Well, we're still working that out right now. Well, the March meet's a definite, I think. Um, Beyond that, we're just gonna try to find some funding and just work on it or one race at a time. We'll just see what happens. I mean, 4 championships has been a dream. So I mean, 5 would be just crazy. So, um, but yeah, we're gonna definitely do the March meet and then go from there.
Yeah, 5, I mean 4 is crazy. 5 would be just that much more crazy, but certainly if there's a team out there that's capable of doing it, it is the Great Expectations 3 outfit. I'm sure there are plenty out there that are like, nah, yeah, just don't show up. Let someone else get it.
Yeah.
Granted, I may be wrong in that. There may be those that feel that way, but they're also, I'm sure, other competitors, they really feel like, man, no, stay out there. If we beat you, we want to beat you. We want to earn the championship over who has been the best for 4 years running in the Heritage Series in Top Fuel. I'm sure they feel that way. Look, on the schedule, March meet, we talk about it, California Hot Rod Reunion, they bookend and they get a lot of attention, but there are races in between. So why do people need to go to those events and check out those venues, such as a Beach Bend and a Boise, and get those type of places in like Woodburn? I've heard great things about Woodburn and have not been able to make a trek out there for it and experience it. So those tracks that don't get quite the love as Famoso Drag Strip, why should people venture out to those events and experience those tracks and see Nostalgia Top Fuel at those venues as well?
Oh, that's a great thing to bring up. I mean, just supporting the sport, and supporting our series. Um, like you said, Beach Band is a really unique track, and we have a lot of history there. It's really unique with the grandstands right up on top of the racetrack for the fans. Um, Boise, I mean, Boise packs it in there like no other place that we race at, as far as spectators are concerned. And the new family, they do a really great job there. Just supporting the races we have. I mean, if you don't support them, they're not going to be there. So um, yeah, it's just all about supporting the sport.
Yes, Beach Bend, it is such a neat facility and it fits so well for the nostalgia racers, those covered grandstands and those like old baseball stadium seats. It just fits really well. Very nice facility, nice part of Kentucky. I really enjoy Bowling Green. It's big enough, but yet also It's still got small town feel. It's got a lot of things going for it. And in that section of Kentucky, right off Interstate 65. So it works out really good. And then, like I said, I haven't been able to go to Boise yet. I haven't been able to go to Woodburn yet. I want to mark off that they call it Night Fire, right? Yes, the one in Boise, Night Fire. I want to mark that one off the list so bad. That is one of those great events, and I think more people need to get out there and experience it. And different track also from everything that I understand, the way the staging lanes are laid out, that you can't hide from the fans apparently. Like you're right out there in front of them getting ready, and that's a whole nother experience. I love tracks that like the return road brings the cars back like at Famoso, but they've got a different experience, and at the staging lanes they can see you all getting ready. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. And just different tracks, you approach them in different ways. You can go to Famoso and the track's going to be killer, and you're going to run well and the air is going to be good, but you go to somewhere like Bowling Green and it gets hot and it gets slick and the air isn't very good, and it just makes it tricky to tune, and it just makes it more interesting. It's just a different kind of racing where you can't throw everything at it, so. And same thing with Boise. It's hot up there. The elevation makes it really tricky. So it's interesting to see how different teams approach the different racetracks that we go to, and how they make their cars actually go down the track.
Well, the family does have more in the portfolio than just the Great Expectations 3 hot rod. You've got Bobby's brother out there, Mike.
Yeah.
And that car has been coming along, and you all have been getting it right and seasoned, if you will. It seemed like it was performing really well at the California Hot Rod Reunion. What's the plans with Mike and that particular car in 2026?
Well, they have a new owner of that car, Daniel Sambrooks. He's taken it over, and he's really dedicated to running the whole series next year, I'm pretty sure. So that should be a good thing. It's going to be another car out there that you can count on being at the races. Yeah, that car's coming around. Johnny Davis is a tuner and the crew chief on it. He's done a lot on that car, pretty much everything. So yeah, they're just creeping up on it, but they did good this last year. They finished third, I think, in the points, and they runnered up to us at Boise. Yeah, it just takes laps, just takes laps, and it's coming around though. They're making some big changes this off season, so that'll be a car to watch for next year for sure.
All right. Well, I've had my eye on it for a while, but we'll definitely be looking at it and hopefully be seeing it in person at March Meet. Do plan on being there yet again to cover it and put the content out from March Meet. And hopefully we got the great weather again. So looking forward to seeing it and you all start the 2026 season out there at the great March Meet at Famoso Drag Strip. So Tyler, when you look at everything else that's out there, got a lot of options. What else is on the table? Well, we've seen you all down in Texas for the big event with Chris Graves and Nitro Chaos. We've seen you all at Edgewater and such places. What's on the schedule that is at least appealing? Maybe it's not set in stone, but what's appealing to you and the team in 2026 that we may see you outside of NHRA Heritage Series trim?
Edgewater, possibly. They moved it back into May, so it's not on top of Bowling Green, because it was like a week after Bowling Green the last couple of years, which made it pretty much impossible for us to run it. So yeah, you might see us down at Edgewater. It's our home track, so it's 15 minutes from the shop here, so it's kind of makes sense to do it, and I like running with the Chaos deal. We don't make any changes. We keep the same fuel pump, same blower, keep it all heritage legal, but still go out there and try to run with the big pump boys. So but we've done pretty well when we've ran them before, so we run it up and won one of them. So yeah, I think the Chaos thing is thriving, and I look forward to seeing that and how that plays out this coming season too.
Yeah, it really is. It's remarkable what Chris has been able to work out. I mean, Fuel Altered Chaos was a smash, and already 2 races for 2026 with that brand. And I'm waiting for Jet Car Chaos to come online and Pro Mod Chaos. And, I need to call and be like, hey, we can do Gasser Chaos. I got connections there. Like, let's get it done. And just, it can continue to roll on and on and on. And by the way, folks, yes, go attempt this. Type in jetcarchaos.com. He already has the domain name. So it's going to happen. I don't know when, but it is going to happen. But it is fascinating how all these different nitro burners can come together and be competitive, and it works out. And it's interesting to see a funny car and a top fuel dragster go up against each other. And in saying that, that reminds me, like, you and Bobby Cottrell had a nice little match race there at the March meet, Famoso, and kind of who's on top and who's this and that in the sport. And you were able to get a win there against Bobby, if I remember correctly. So right now, at least, and I hope it happens again, right now we've got Top Fuel 1, Funny Car 0 in the match racing competition. So yeah, we got to work that out between you and Shane and Austin O'Brien and Hilton's, and we got to do that again. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was a fun deal. That was cool. That was really cool. So, and we got a set of wheels out of the deal too. So yeah, that was a cool run for us.
Yeah, I believe it was those are Sander
Yeah,
engineering wheels, right?
Sanders Energy Engineering. Yep.
Yep.
They
Okay.
they support the series and stuff a lot. So
yeah, that was fun to see, and fans loved it. And not that we need to have that as a whole race, for example,
right.
but to get that every now and then in qualifying, a little match race type scenario, just have some fun, something different. That is appealing, and that is helpful to you all, and it's helpful to the sport because drag racing being so diverse. Do you feel like at times what happens in the Heritage Series, it just gets completely overlooked, and like you all are seen as these backwoods almost racers of drag racing? Like, just why don't you all get with the times and stop running these cars and these different combinations? And if I may throw it out there, go do some real drag racing, even though it obviously is. Do you feel like it gets overlooked?
Yeah, I think it gets kind of pigeonholed sometimes, and to not being the greatest exposure, but it's just wicked drag racing. I mean, they're small tire nitro cars. It's pretty impressive what we do with them, honestly. Um, on a 12-inch tire, the dragsters especially. I mean, the funny cars are getting a little bit more exposure by running at national events and stuff like that with the Legends series. But as far as the dragsters are concerned, they're one of the most difficult to drive, difficult to tune, and just one of the most wicked class of cars out there as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I think it gets overlooked a little bit, but we're working on some stuff for this coming year with NHRA, to kind of get us out there a little more and get a little bit more exposure going.
Well, that certainly sounds good. And, with you mentioning the funny cars, I was wondering, is, doing some racing at the national event level, is that something that the Nostalgia Top Fuel guys want to bother with and experience? And, if I may say, go through the hassle of the national
Yeah.
events and being a part of the show, but yet not necessarily the show for exposure's sake.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. We've ran some exhibition stuff in the past. We ran at Vegas uh, with 4 cars. I don't know, like 5 or 6 years ago, and it was pretty well received, But yeah, you're at the mercy of a lot of different things going on there that we can't control. So I don't know. Like I said, there's some different stuff being talked about that might come to fruition this coming year. So we're going to see where it goes, and hopefully it's positive.
All right. Well, I'm disappointed that we're not announcing Tyler Hilton driving the Cornwell Quality Tools J.A. John Force Racing, funny car, but
Yeah,
you are going to be driving the 4 straight
there you go.
championship Great Expectation 3 Hot Rod in 2026 at the March meet. So that's pretty doggone impressive in its own right.
Yeah, that's a good sounding title to me.
Anybody would want that title, and you all have it, and you all have earned it. Well, earning such a title doesn't come by, well, no help. So who are the people you got on board right now that really make it possible for the Hiltons to go out there and to perform at a high level and do so consistently and to the point where it's 4 championships in a row?
Well, first off, we got to thank the whole crew. Without them, we couldn't do any of this. I mean, it's just such a well-oiled machine. We turn these cars around in sometimes 45 minutes, almost an hour. So just all the guys on the team couldn't do it without any of them. Um, as far as sponsors go, Tony at Ross Racing Engines, Redline Oil, NGK Spark Plugs, Hussey Performance, CP and Arius, and McKinney Corp for all their help too. There's a few others out there I'm probably not mentioning, but those are the main ones that I need to touch on. So yeah, without them guys, we're toast. We can't do it. So it's been a pleasure working with all these manufacturers and individuals, and hopefully 2026 goes pretty well for us.
I think it will. I do hope, pulling for you all, get that March meet marked off the list. I know that is a big one for sure. Maybe, I know there's a lot there at the U.S. Nationals period, but, seeing those cars at Indy would be pretty cool. And, would love also to just see more and more folks show up for Nitro Chaos. Such a great series that Chris has got going on. So, if y'all could swing 2 Hilton cars, that'd be pretty cool at whatever event, if possible. Mentioning though that it has been sold and it's moved on, but hey, more the merrier. Let's get it done. And you all, well, you know how to get it done. And congratulations on another championship effort. And wow, whether it's Drive for 5 or not, I mean, y'all have got nothing else to prove. What an accomplishment, and truly unprecedented. I mean, spectacular. Congratulations, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been a dream. So hopefully we can keep it going in the future.
Well, I think you all will for sure. And man, look, enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you at the Performance Racing Industry Trade Show in just a couple of days. And thank you for the time, champ.
Yep, thank you. We'll see you there.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
Folks, that's Tyler Hilton, the Top Fuel winner of the championship chase in the NHRA Heritage Series. The 4th championship in a row. That is domination. I know that the fellow competitors in that particular form of drag racing, I don't think they want to see them go and not compete the entire series. I know that, I'm sure the likes of a Pete Kaiser, they want to beat the Hiltons and the Hiltons be there each and every race. That must be the case because you've got Kaiser, his hot rod being front halved, as Tyler Hilton shared with us there by Bobby Cottrell. And from what I understand, Bobby Cottrell, he's got a front engine combination coming out as well. Talked to him about that earlier this year in chatting with him as the champion from 2024 of what his 2025 was going to look like. And he mentioned coming online, getting it done, but that eventually going to have a front engine dragster combination with him at the wheel. So things are looking good for the crowd that is Top Fuel in the Heritage Series. And remember, folks, it all fires up for March meet, at March meet. And that is going to be, if I remember correctly, it's March 5th through the 8th this coming year. It falls again on the Gator Nationals, but I plan on going out west. And if you would like to support that coverage, reach out. Let me know, because it's my intention to cover, again, Top Fuel, Funny Car, and Fuel Altered. And you may wonder, well, what kind of exposure can a brand get with the Monday Morning Racer platform and the coverage on March meet? Well, sometimes it's hard to tell, but I can tell you this, that the Fuel Altered video on YouTube alone for eliminations was able to get 120,000 views. That's pretty good for something that is Heritage Series, and it is event coverage, and it is going into the pits, and it is talking with those that are there at the event, and they're driving and they're tuning. That's not bad. And when you put all of the numbers together across Facebook and X and across YouTube, I think it's something around the range of 350,000 total views when you look at Fuel Altered, Top Fuel, and Funny Car there at the famed March meet. So if you want to step up and help support that coverage, hey, reach out. Let me know. Your brand can partner in that coverage. We're going to take a break real quick. After that, we'll talk about a little bit of drag racing news, some updates even from yesterday, as we talked about it with Shane Westerfield and beyond in episode 190, this being the 191st installment of Between the Slicks. I'm Lee Kraft, aka the Monday Morning Racer. We're glad you're watching. Hit the like button, hit the share button, dive into the comments section. We see you, the Not Bland Show, and Dragster Jeff Kreider, and Don the Kid Morris. I had to slow down just a little bit, but I got it. Thank you, folks, for watching. Hit the share button for me, because please do that. I know everybody asked that, but please do that, because StreamYard did its funky little thing and it didn't publish it directly to the Monday Morning Racer Facebook page. So if you're seeing this and you're seeing it from Monday Morning Racer, do me a favor, hit the share button so folks can, hear from Tyler, the 4-time NHRA, Nostalgia, Heritage Series, Top Fuel champ. A word from McKinney Corp.
McKinney Motorsports is your #1 source for all your chassis needs. McKinney Motorsports is the leading chassis parts supplier and fabricator in nitro drag racing. From custom tanks and fittings, full chassis builds, body mounts, steering components, fasteners, tabs, clamps, composite parts, and much more. Our household name in the racing world guarantees added performance on the track. Join our list of proven winners that spans over 50 years of racing experience.
Well, we'll start off. Randy Johnston, you got a good question. It's timely. Will there be any live streaming from IHRA at PRI? Well, I don't know. They haven't said directly. I don't expect them to have the stage. You know, the NHRA has got the stage. They're out in the hallway. Great setup that the NHRA puts on there at PRI. My buddy Warren Evans, the proprietor of Drag Racing .tv, he is the man over the stream and puts that out. And you certainly will be able to watch the NHRA stream from PRI. They usually put it out on YouTube as well as it's on NHRA.tv. So haven't heard anything about IHRA being live. It's interesting with the IHRA. They have like 3 to 4 booths at PRI the last time I checked. So you've got like the drag racing booth, then you've got the tractor pulling booth, you've got the power boat booth, and then you've got the stock car booth. okay? Because Daryl Cuttrell, with that brand that is the International Hot Rod Association, that nameplate, if you will, well, he is, throwing the umbrella out wide of what a hot rod is. And I think that's pretty cool. And it now includes the hot rods that are stock cars and power boats and tractor pulling machines, along with the drag cars. So will the IHRA be live as the NHRA? I have to say, well, no, I don't expect that. Will the IHRA go live? I expect that, maybe booth to booth, but it might be a situation where you see a lot of IHRA news and coverage happening over at the Speed Sport booth and area. I would expect that. Speed Sport typically sets up and they've got a stage and they do live streams and they're doing shows and you've got all of that going on. But I don't expect NHRA style live. But I would say be sure to be following the IHRA on Facebook, on YouTube, so that if they do go live, you'll get notifications. And hopefully be able to, as Monday Morning Racer, see those things, hit the share button as well. So make sure you're following Monday Morning Racer and you get notifications on those things. But great question. Will they be live? In the capacity of the NHRA, I think no. Will they go live from time to time? I would expect so. And if they don't, I think missed opportunity. And remember, folks, as I said yesterday, let me pull it up here. So this issue of Drag Review, I got it in the mail, and I was one of the first to go to page 23 and share that, hey, we've got an NHRA schedule. And this is what it looks like. I'll try to bring it up. Page 23, there's posts on Monday Morning Racer. You can see it. Do not expect that to hold true or to remain to be true. I've got word from an individual that works with the IHRA off the record through the Xverse that do not expect that schedule to be the schedule. They will be announcing the schedule at PRI. And there's also a way in which we can know that the schedule that they have printed is not going to be the schedule. One of the tracks that was under the red stamp of in contract was Virginia Motorsports Park, and it was already renamed to Durana Motorsports Park. Well, we have the announcement of the PDRA 2026 schedule, the Professional Drag Racers Association, and on their schedule is Virginia Motorsports Park, not another Durana Motorsports Park in Dinwiddie, Virginia. So you can start putting the pieces together that, again, from someone who works there, off the record type of situation source, and then PDRA schedule coming out, that we're still looking for the official IHRA 2026 national event level schedule for them. Now, I do fully expect everything I hear that we are not done yet. I'm expecting that there's going to be some bombshell news from the IHRA. They have continued to do that. I mean, folks, we are post IHRA revival season where they had, 5 races and then a major pro mod race. I mean, the IHRA is back. Certainly, we don't have champions. They didn't, crown champions this year. But we had some major players and major names participate in the IHRA. And we had some great storylines for drag racing in the IHRA. You have Lex June getting his first victory in Top Fuel in the United States of America ever. Been wanting to live out that dream. It's why he moved here as a former FIA European champion. He came here to win. He does that in the IHRA, and he's helped his program. I think of Dale Worsham making every final in IHRA Funny Car and winning many of them. But then you have those like Dan Hicks able to go out there and get a win in Funny Car for the first time ever, taking his hot rod out, and he goes and picks up a win. Mike McIntyre, they pick up a win, and they had been in the IHRA for so many years before it ever went defunct. You got Jasmine Salinas, she is top 5 in points, and then all of a sudden out of NHRA drag racing. Where has Jasmine gone? And Jasmine shows back up to the U.S. Nationals, and they're like, hey, we're going to run our car again. They go run it in the IHRA, and she is the speed record holder in the IHRA currently. You got Sean Reed, number, 9-digit. Sean Reed comes back, first race back in the car after his accident. It's an IHRA event. They figure it all out. They figure it all out to an extent where he can go race at Reading and win there because he got a win in the IHRA. So there are some great storylines, I think, for the IHRA, and it's only going to get better in 2026. So, yes, the IHRA is going to be making some announcements for sure, but don't expect that printed schedule to be the schedule. Hey, we showed the PDRA schedule to kind of connect all of those dots. They've got a great schedule, I think, for 2026. And I've had some people say in comment sections, hey, this track's not there. This track is off the schedule. The PDRA has routinely shifted their schedule. You've got the tracks that seem to be their foundational tracks, and that is the former Gallant Motorsports Park, now Durana Motorsports Park, and Virginia Motorsports Park. But the likes of Darlington and Maryland and Bristol, those places have changed and they have switched. US 131 is not on the schedule this year. You also do not have the Summit Motorsports Park on the schedule this year, but Darlington is back on the schedule and it hasn't been on there in a while. Maryland International hosting again a PDRA event. So the PDRA, they have stuck to a shifting schedule. And I think, honestly, that's really good in drag racing. Have some of your foundational tracks for sure for any series, but move around from time to time and grant different exposure for your racers and for your fans and for those regions. Excuse me. The NHRA is doing something, excuse me, very similar in 2026 with the addition of Rockingham, Maryland International, and South Georgia Motorsports Park. I think that is a good thing. There was new news from the PDRA today. That is their class lineups for the 2026 season. Pro Boost. Excuse me, we'll start with Pro Nitrous, then Pro Boost, Pro Street, Pro 632, Super Street, Top Sportsman, and it's kind of split up in two. You got Elite and Regular, Top Dragster, Elite and Regular. You got Pro Junior Dragster, Top Junior Dragster, and then Bracket Bash. A lot of cars show up to a Professional Drag Racers Association drag racing meet. There is a noticeable deletion, noticeable absence, noticeable exclusion, noticeable, whatever you want to put there, of something missing. And that is, there's no Extreme Pro Stock, a.k.a. Mountain Motor Pro Stock. And that is the first time ever since I have known and covered the PDRA. They kind of had their de facto home in the PDRA. But now it seems they are wholly committed to the International Hot Rod Association and what they're doing in the National Hot Rod Association. So, one, I'm very thankful to the Franklins that they did give Extreme Pro Stock, a.k.a. Mountain Motor Pro Stock, a place to race. But it may very well be the best because Mountain Motor got some great guys over there. But, man, there has been drama it seems like always around that class, especially last 5, 6, 7 years, maybe even a little bit more. There was even drama in the IHRA this year. Maybe it's just best not to deal with the drama. I hope they have found their new homes and that they move forward as a category. Mountain motor drag racing is great. I remember the first time I went to an IHRA national event at what was at the time Red River Dragway there in Gillum, Louisiana, north of Shreveport. And I saw mountain motor for the first time as, a young teenager. I don't even think I was a teenager yet. I'd just say a kid. And I was blown away. Like, I had only known NHRA 500 cubic inch pro stock. And I loved that at the time. But when I saw mountain motor, I'm like, this is the stuff. Like, these are cool. They're just throaty and they're quicker and they're faster, and yet they're naturally aspirated. It's this huge glob of aluminum sitting in between the frame rails, pumping out horsepower. Loved it. Great class. Well, along with it being great, let's just get worked out the drama and move forward and get Mountain Motor Pro Stock back to prominence, and where people are talking about the racers and the people and the cars of Mountain Motor Pro Stock instead of anything surrounding what may be happening within it or without of it. Move forward, Mountain Motor Pro Stock. I hope you're doing that in IHRA and NHRA, wherever you are. But the class lineup for the PDRA is a solid lineup, even without them. I like what the PDRA does. They split the guys using the laughing gas from those who are mechanically boosted. That's been something that I've noticed in drag racing for the last several years that is distinct to them. And I like how they are rocking that, and they're going to continue to rock that. Does everybody else need to do that? No, I don't think they actually should. But I like it in the PDRA. It makes sense there. I like what they've got. Also, their street classes that they've got going on right now, there are some beautiful hot rods. They are quick. They are fast. It's some great drag racing. And by the way, top dragster and top sportsman in the PDRA is absolutely insane. What those guys are bracket racing. And many of them, I'm like, why don't you just qualify? You could have qualified for Pro Nitrous. Why are you running in top sportsman? Why? Some of these guys bring like a top alcohol dragster blown car out, and they rock with it in top dragster. It's absolutely insane. Spectacular drag racing at the PDRA. It's sad for me. I haven't been able, because of overlap schedule wise, have not been able to cover a PDR race in person in, I think, like 2 years now. And when I was working for Chip Lofton at strutmasters.com, I was able to make so many of them and do so routinely with Chip sponsoring Johnny Placino and that Extreme Pro Stock operation, and just great drag racing that happens over there. And I get it. Look, if you don't like 8th Mile, you're probably not going to like PDRA, because it is an 8th Mile drag racing sanctioning body. But if that doesn't trip you up, if you want to see some good drag racing, the PDRA, it is some great drag racing. There's a reason why Jason Harris is, a multi-time champion and goes and wins the Snowbirds. And routinely you find people winning the Snowbirds in these big drag races, and they've got experience and time in the PDRA. It is just a phenomenal place for drag racing. So with putting the schedule out there and with those classes out there, hey, what's your favorite class in the PDRA, and where might you go and see PDRA drag racing? Randy Johnston, the IHRA all 8th Mile too. Yes, it is going to be all 8th Mile for 2026 at their national event level. That's their plan. That's what they've announced. It was actually broke on the Competition Plus Power Hour. Scott Woodruff, he was on, and he is a part of the IHRA leadership and they announced that they're going to be just 8th mile for the national event level. And I'm fine with that. Look, I think I have said it ever since the IHRA came back online. And I believe when I say online, I don't mean just this time period, but even with Larry Jeffers, because Larry and Mel Roth, we had them on between the slicks and was chatting with them about their intention and what they were going to do and bringing it back. And I have said since even then, if I remember correctly, the IHRA needs to be distinct from the NHRA. And I think distinct qualities are just this: going all 8th mile. And then you open up other facilities that you normally could not go to. And I think it can also help from a confusion factor of going back and forth from 1,000 foot to quarter mile. Look, everybody's going to the 8th. That helps out. And let me tell you, there is a confusion factor. Yes, people do not understand the difference between 1,000 feet and 660 feet, 8th mile, or they're out there. They're out there. Fractions are hard, okay? Just ask A&W burgers and root beer. Just ask that. It's tough for the American populace. But I really like these distinct moves. And having few alters, I think that's a distinct move. You know, now if you're going to be the home of Mountain Motor Pro Stock, that's a distinct move. So, and as I've said, I think they need to go even further. Do not split nitrous and boosted Pro Mods. Do not split them. Matter of fact, don't even have Pro Mod as we know it. Dive in and be the home and be the place. Be the organization that champions outlaw, extreme, unlimited Pro Mod. I said that last show. I've said it before. I'm saying it again. Be that place. Be that place. Because, look, the Winter Series, like we just wrapped up, Jason Harris winning Snowbirds. Man, Pro Mod down there, it's great. It's phenomenal. Don't be Summer Winter Series. Be distinct as the IHRA and go all in on. Push those chips, every one of them, even the ones you're hiding in your pocket. Put them on the table and slide them all to the table on Extreme, Unlimited, Outlaw Pro Mod. And by the way, let them burn nitromethane. So we'll move forward with the news that we have got out there. Thank you all for commenting and participating. I appreciate it. Want to announce some good news for Buddy Hull. Buddy Hull, he is going to be stepping away from the Jim Dunn racing ride, the funny car operation there in NHRA Mission Foods Series action. And he is going to reform with Hull Racing. If you recall, Buddy had his own operation with a Top Fuel dragster, and he still has that Top Fuel dragster, by the way. It is a beautiful McKinney Top Fueler that is updated. It's 2-spec, and it is ready to go. If you want to rent a Top Fuel dragster and have a quality ride to step into, call Buddy Hull. He might just be the guy to talk to. He's got a Top Fuel dragster. But he has decided to go back into ownership and back into driving. They've got apparently 2 complete funny cars ready to go. And you've got Mike Googer, the Googer, along with Johnny West. They're going to be calling the shots on the tuning side of things for Buddy Hull in 2026. And from what I read with the press release, and it's posted on Monday Morning Racer, that is going to be a full pull in 2026. So looking forward to Hull Racing 2.0 in some respects, with the floppers back out there in NHRA competition. So, silly season remains just that, silly. And this might be the silliest of silliest seasons that the NHRA has ever experienced. I cannot recall one quite like this. This is like NASCAR level, moving and shuffling and shaking around. And it's pretty dang cool, in my opinion. Well, with Buddy stepping out of the Jim Dunn racing seat, we have a seat open. We have a historic seat open. We have a popular seat open. We have a seat open that some improvements were being made, but, they certainly weren't getting the win lights that they were looking for. But John Dunn has made it so where that car has always got names on it. So who might step into the Jim Dunn Racing operation? And that one, in my opinion, is even more challenging to come up with of who's going to be in that hot rod than John Force Racing. That announcement for the 4th John Force Racing hot rod, a 3rd funny car in NHRA Mission Foods drag racing, is going to be made, that announcement, on Friday. And we will finally know the driver that will be under the carbon fiber for John Force as a brand new addition in the Cornwell Quality Tools funny car. So what a silly season we have had for the NHRA. All right, let's go to the comment section, and take a look. I saw Jacob earlier, the gentleman who does a fine job behind the scenes hitting the buttons. He brought up, oh, yeah, there it is. That's exactly the one I was thinking about. What up, fellow Nitro nuts? Yeah, we all are kind of nuts when we like Nitro. Like we enjoy pain, like let's go get into a yellow fog and be, suffocated and cry. But yet we like it. It's amazing. Q, is chaos in the corn moved? Okay. So you mean, I'm sorry. Question, is chaos in the cornfield moved? So if I remember correctly, looking at the chaos schedule, what you're going to have this year, one, if you're referring to chaos in the cornfield all the way back to the original one, and what I may be saying by that, what I mean by that, at Mid-State Dragway, Havana, Illinois, they are not going to be hosting the Nitro Chaos Championship Finals. And then when you look at Eddyville, that chaos in the cornfield that for the last 2 years has gone on and been a tremendous successful event and created the first double of Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos being together, that is not going to be held at Eddyville on Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend for Nitro Chaos and Chaos as a whole, you're going to have an event at Edgewater. And if I remember correctly, that's a double. I don't have the schedule right here in front of me, but I think that's going to be a double at Edgewater. I'll look real quick and try to make for sure on that. I think that's the case. Edgewater doubling down on the chaos there on Memorial Day weekend. And let's see, Edgewater, Thunder in the Park. Yes. So it is going to be a double down because that's also on the Nitro Chaos schedule. So Memorial Day weekend, you've got Funny Car Chaos, Nitro Chaos there at Edgewater Sports Park, Cleves, Ohio. I believe that is just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. And you still have Funny Car Chaos at Eddyville later in the season. So it's not a double. It will just be Funny Car Chaos there at Eddyville Raceway Park in Eddyville, Iowa, just outside of Oskaloosa, Iowa. That's the changes. David Hewitt, what's that mean for Jim Dunn Racing? Well, it means they're out of a driver right now, and they're going to be searching. And we all expect that they are going to continue. They're going to move forward with the racing operation. That family, it seems like that's all they've known is, well, racing. And I'm sure John Dunn, and along with Jim, they intend to continue to move that program forward. But wow, who might fit in with that program? And you see with whoever might be in that seat, there's a good crop right now of folks that could fill in. And, maybe they don't have someone, for every race that is like dedicated. Maybe they throw in some different people, but there's some quality funny car racers out there that they could call up. And David Wazlowski's who's got the money. That is a part of it. with that ride. It is funded, but it is not a fully funded type of operation. You do have some folks bringing some money. From what I understand, Buddy was bringing some money, Jim Campbell too, and others, and that might very well be the case for whoever is next. And it'd be cool to see someone out of Southern California, someone out of Orange County, Funny Car County, maybe step into that hot rod. Who knows? The speculation now is swirling of who fills the Jim Dunn Racing ride seat in 2026. I just hope whoever it is that they can continue to move forward and we see some extreme advancement for that hot rod in 2026 in going rounds, and would love to see them make a final a couple of times. They need a win. It's been a while since they had a win. It'd be great to see them have a win. So I hope that is in their future there at Jim Dunn Racing. David Wazowski, perhaps a nostalgia funny car racer stepping up. Right. There's a lot of good, capable racers right now in other segments of drag racing in the funny car world that could step in that ride. They don't have to necessarily license anybody, except maybe, upgrading a license. But there are some quality people in hot rods that they could, reach out to and have in that car. We shall see. But silly season. It's pretty doggone silly right now. Gerda June, in the comment section, thank you for watching. Crew Chief, big changes coming for LJR in 2026. Lex June Racing. Yes, folks, take the time, go by Lex June Racing on Facebook. They made an announcement today. They've got some partners coming on board. It's going to be a big help for them in 2026 in the International Hot Rod Racing Association, efforts. And, by the way, folks, I don't know if you know this, but yes, let me disclaimer. There were no champions crowned in the IHRA this year. Okay? But if there were, Lex June would have been the IHRA champion in Top Fuel. I think that's pretty cool. He had a win. He made another final round appearance. He had a number one qualifying effort. And I think when you look at Lex June and IHRA Top Fuel and what are they doing over there? What's the point of it? I think Lex June is one of the poster childs, because that car from the first IHR race to the last IHR race, man, it improved. I think Lex got better. Gerda got better. The entire team got better and jailed. You see what the IHRA is trying to do happening right there. Great example with Lex June Racing. I cannot wait for 2026. Man, 2026 is going to be one of the best years for drag racing that I think it has ever had. As long as we don't have something like, a COVID come in or something of that nature that we just have no clue, because, think about it. We were all, December, 2019 and looking at 2020 and never thought something like that would happen. You never know what might happen. But if we kind of stay the course, if you will, man, 2026 for the NHRA, for the IHRA, for Chaos, for PDRA, for what's happening right now with the Winter Series and this $1 million multiplier that now only Jason Harris has got a shot to go get if he can win all three races. You just continue to add it up. It is so good for drag racing right now. There's so much of it happening. Got a great season for the Southeast Gassers Association coming up. And that all said, PRI start. It's kind of already started. People are loading up and in and getting things set up. But you got some action going to be going down. More announcements being made. Be tuned in right here on Monday Morning Racer and beyond. Performance Racing Industry Trade Show starts Thursday, ends Saturday this week in Indianapolis. Did y'all see The NHRA gets the crown jewel spot. You got Antron Brown's Top Fuel dragster hanging from the ceiling in the convention center. That's pretty cool. That's cool. So, PRI, big announcements going to be taking place. And, by the way, in just a few hours, hey, we'll have Buddy Hull on along with Jason Harris, who won the Snowbirds, and my co-host Dujane Bland on the Competition Plus Power Hour, and we'll be chatting it up. David, what is David talking about here? NHRA with some history venues on their schedule. IHRA's Comeback Tour 2026. PDRA going back to Darlington. The K-Off Series off and running Sega with more epic action. A whole host of local events. Folks, there is something for everyone. Man, absolutely correct. Hey, the Meltdown Drags are back at Byron Dragway. Man, the buzz around that in July is already big. I'm hearing a lot of Sega cars are going to make the trek up north, and you're going to have this north versus south type of battle happening. So, I even reached out to a track today and been like, hey, how much do you want a gasser race? I don't know if Chris wants another race, but I'm thinking a chaos-esque race in that you got 3 8-car fields like Chris does, and we don't worry about like the rules of Sega. We don't worry about the indexes, but we just say bring your gasser-esque car. Let's line them up, and let's see who qualifies and where they qualify, and then go eliminate down to the top eliminators per field. Drag racing's got it good going on pretty good right now. We just need to let people know. We just got to do a better job of letting people know. Bring them to the track. Let them experience it. Just all those negative, this isn't real drag racing, this, that, blah, blah, just go on. I think it's pretty good right now. Well, folks, it's been good, been enjoyable, been fun. Thank you to Tyler Hilton, the Heritage Series top field champion in the National Hot Rod Association, for his time here on Between the Slicks. I'm Lee Kraft, a.k.a. the Monday Morning Racer, here on the Monday Morning Racer platform. Also, thank you to the Competition Plus audience for joining in. Hit the like button, hit the share button. We will go live again. Well, I don't know when, but we will pick back up with Between the Slicks with someone else in the world of drag racing and talk to them right here on Between the Slicks. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for commenting. I appreciate it. And no telling what is ahead for the sport of drag racing, except that I know it is good. God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal. Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils-infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom clean.